Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Block Theater. And the other day, Mikey Sutton over on Facebook in the Geekosity secret group now, it's a secret group because it kind of has to be, he dropped a major scoop that Disney was looking to buy Spider-Man. And a lot of people ran with it. A lot of people have run with it over the course of the past couple of days. And there's a couple naysayers out there. And really the one that came to my attention today was this one here. Disney buying Spider-Man movie rights, rumors explained, why it won't happen, by Thomas Bacon. And he has this whole article here, and it's a bit of a long one. I looked through it a bit, and he's forgetting a couple things, but it really does boil down to ultimately this $4 to $5 billion, which is what Mikey says Disney is mulling over in regards to offering Sony. Is a bit of an overpay. In fact, most people who have criticized this information claim that it's an overpay, that there's no way Disney would spend $4 to $5 billion for one character, really, in order to get him back in the cinematic universe, in order to get him back over to Marvel and all of these things. In which case, I would say, no, they're probably going to do it. 4,000 or 4 billion to 5 billion is most likely just like that first offer, right? That high bar offer. Like, we're willing to go this high. This information is out there that we're willing to go this high, but they've still paid that kind of cash for this kind of stuff before. Now, look, you do have to go back and look at the Marvel Studios acquisition or the Marvel acquisition from 2010. They dropped 4 billion on that, and that got with them Marvel Comics, Marvel TV, Marvel Studios, and everything that came with it. Well, quite frankly, what's the most profitable aspect of that? That would be the Marvel Studios. That's what they've been able to turn into an over $20 billion property. When they bought Lucasfilm in 2012 for $4.08 billion, they not only got Lucasfilm, they got Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Industrial Light and Magic, Skywalker Sound, LucasArts, which they subsequently killed, which, yeah, we won't really talk about how, Iger's made a few errors that I'm not a big fan of in regards to that. And so, look, here's the deal. They've bought a lot of stuff, and with it comes a lot of stuff. So what exactly about Spider-Man is it that they want to get? Well, it's not necessarily just the character of Spider-Man. It would be Venom, it would be Morbius, it would be like Kraven, the Sinister Six, and it would be like about 900 characters. 900 characters that they would get in this acquisition that then could be used in the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. Now, would they use all 900 characters? The answer to that is absolutely not. But does it make sense to put out an offer like that in order to entice Sony to sell? Because Sony, according to CEO Tony Vinciquerra, says that it's not for sale, says that it hasn't been for sale, that it's not going to be for sale, right? Because there were the rumors that Apple or Amazon was going to come in to check it out or come in to buy it. Well, Apple decided to go with A24 for their Apple TV movies and everything else, which is a smaller, more like, boutique distributor, which makes a lot of sense. But Amazon, on the other hand, is still very much in play. And I've always said that Amazon is the likely person, the likely entity, the likely company to make that particular purchase. And I still stand by that, mostly because it just seems to make the most amount of sense. And then also, when you look at Sony's take home this year alone, it's not as good as it could be. Their movies have not done as well as they could, but their television side apparently is doing really well. So that could be the one thing that is, in fact, propping up Sony as an entertainment brand right now. The PlayStation division has done exceptionally well. They just announced the PlayStation 5 the other day, coming holiday 2020. So yeah, people are going to be investing lots of money into that. But when it comes to the theatrical side of it, I think with where things are going, Sony is not looking to have movies go to the theater as often. Right. And I say that because a lot of studios are kind of in the process of doing that. The streaming wars have begun, which means now Sony, by not opening up its own streaming app, is in the position to basically license off properties left and right. We know about He-Man came up the other day, right? There's a Harbinger that apparently has been rumored, that Valiant story comic that's been apparently rumored to go off there. You've got, El Camino dropped today. That was licensed out to Netflix through Sony Pictures. You have a lot of things for them to license out. And I think that's going to be what they ultimately work on. Where they ultimately see themselves going is simply as a small screen streaming distribution or a production company, because that's probably where a vast amount of their money is coming from. Theatrically speaking, they have some brands, but really it's in their best interest to start piecemealing some of this off, because eventually they're not going to be able to keep up with the high cost it does take to run studios. And I'm not saying this as a way to like go Disney into purchasing them or try to like shame them into being purchased. The nature of the industry has ultimately changed. And so if Disney is looking to reacquire the the Marvel characters and make them as whole as humanly possible, again, Universal still has a couple of them. This is just the next level of it. And if they decide to sell or buy this particular character from Sony, you know what they're going to offer him? You know what Iger is going to make that deal for before he walks out in 2021? He's going to offer them Disney stock, which is only going to increase. And yes, Spider-Man is a large portion of that. So not only do you have Spider-Man 3, whatever they're going to call it, Home for Good, whatever they're going to say, you've got that one. You've also got the Avengers Campus. That's going to be coming up too, right? The Avengers Campus that's opening next year in Disneyland. Spider-Man is the core character of Avengers Campus, meaning that whole rumor that Mikey gave me, that scoop Mikey gave me about Spider-Man leading the Avengers, is going to basically kind of be the new thing. Thematically, a theme park, all that stuff, merchandising, all that jazz is all going to be Spider-Man leading the way for the future. And I think not for a couple years and everything, but you can kind of see them already start to position things to kind of get into that place. So it is actually probably likely that Sony will sell to Disney, or this high ball offer is going to be like an offer they can't refuse. Like if a company came to you and said, I want to buy this character basically for $4 to $5 billion, you might sell it off, or they might come to the table and go, well, we don't want to sell you everything, but let's negotiate rights. Because at the end of the day, either they're going to sell it or they're going to negotiate. And if they're in it's much better for them to negotiate with Disney, because that keeps the money coming in over a long period of time, which is going to be good for them. And that might be really where this deal goes. This just could be, again, another one of those high ball offers that to make up for that, because there was that rumored 50%, that 50% thing for Spider-Man was put out there by Disney as a hardball offer, trying to renegotiate or rekindle negotiation conversations. That didn't happen. So then what rekindled negotiation conversations was Tom Holland calling up. I mean, look, it's a great fairy tale. If it's true, that's amazing, but I don't fully buy it anymore. I did at first, and it's because the story needs a hero. So why not make it Spider-Man? Why not make it the actor everyone really likes in the role? So again, all of this seems to be kind of boiling around the idea that Disney's going to make a play for the Spider-Man character from Sony officially, or give them enough of an idea of what they could make that even if they turn it down, it could bring them to the table in order to then get more money by licensing these characters to Disney for these films. And I think that's probably what it's going to be. At the end of the day, Sony is stupid to sell. I'll be fair. I think they're stupid to sell because they kind of hold all the chips in that regard. But if Sony as a studio continues to bungle things as they have been known to do, and they continuously write down money, and they continuously lose cash year after year because their franchises just don't hold the weight that they used to, eventually they're going to be sold off, or they're going to be shut down. And if that happens, then the likelihood of the character rights to Spider-Man going back to Marvel are going to be higher and higher and higher, especially if they sell. And people out there trying to say Disney won't overpay for this. Let me just leave you with this tidbit of information, because this is true. When we talk about the Sony Fox deal, the Disney Fox deal, how much was it? $71.2 billion is what they paid. $71.2 billion. Want to know what the original offer was? Was a little over $51 billion. That was the original offer in cash and stocks to Fox for the entertainment assets, right? 50 billion, 51 billion. Then here comes Comcast, and the Comcast throws its hat in the ring, and it raises the price up to $71.2 billion. So another $20 billion is what Disney put up in order to get these assets. And you know what they really wanted? X-Men. That's all they wanted was X-Men. They figured they would get other stuff to fill out for Disney Plus. I mean, look at what they've announced. They announced, oh, we're doing Home Alone, Night at the Museum, and Cheaper by the Dozen. Wait, what? Who cares about those? I mean, Night at the Museum are good films. Home Alone's a classic. You can't quite remake that. and then cheaper by the dozen. Who cares? They shut down Fox Searchlight. Never mind the fact that Jojo Rabbit's looking to pull in Best Picture nominations. Taika Waititi, Best Director nominations. Those are probably going to be happening because of Jojo Rabbit, which is one of the final Fox Searchlight releases. I mean, they don't care about Fox. They want it in name only. But a lot of that content is going to be migrating its way to Hulu to fill out that library there in order to further sell subscriptions to either Disney Plus and Hulu, which are then going to be bundled. Well, they already are bundled, but that's going to be even more of a reason to bundle them together. All I'm saying here is there's a plan, and that plan is to reunite the MCU as a whole, which is why Iger put up the $70 billion, because that's what he wanted. And again, if you don't believe me, and I know people out there are going to fight me on this one, and people out there like John Campea think that that's not the case at all. What was the one thing that came out of the first Disney Plus beta testing out of Italy, right? What was the one thing that was on there that everyone was talking about? Oh, that's right. It's the 90s X-Men and Spider-Man animated shows from Fox. That's what was there. And that's what people were like, oh, damn, that was cool. What does that tell you? It tells you that this is predominantly what they want to build off of, and it was worth the price of admission. And so if they paid out $70 billion for basically Fox's X-Men properties, because they could over the years make that money back with everything else and make a lot more. I mean, like they would spend $4 to $5 billion, or at least negotiate $4 to $5 billion in stock for Spider-Man to bring him home, or at least put Sony in the position to where they would in fact negotiate to license the character to them for good. It's some smart business tactics. Whoever Mikey's scoopster is, whoever his leaker is, put it out there in order to set the bar for what people would be talking about, or for what people, for negotiating via the press is the best way I can describe it. That's how I see it. I don't see any other reason why to sit there and even remotely act like Sony wouldn't sell for $4 to $5 billion, or that Disney wouldn't put up the cash. They would totally put up the cash. They've put up the cash before for other things, for reasons. They have reasons. The key is, I think a lot of people here aren't paying attention to all of the ancillary stuff. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely nuts. Anyway, I want to hear your guys' thoughts about this one, your opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys all later. If you made it this far, please toss a like. This is a bit of a long-winded rant, I fully admit, but also be sure to leave a comment, type in MCU in the chat so I know, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.